Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Anchorage Ice Tigers Draft to Glory franchise mode here in NHL 23. So in last episode, we had another draft and offseason, and we actually got some pretty good players in for our team. More so for the defensive core, because that's obviously been a problem the last few years. And we also drafted Miles Claxton, who's going to be very exciting as a elite playmaker who has some X factors in the second round. And as I was mentioning, we drafted a nice defenseman here in Boris Zikov. So hopefully this team continues to get some good development, because we are looking pretty decent at this stage. We're looking like an AHL team at the moment, I'd say, based on like overall ratings and stuff like that. So should be exciting to see what this team could do. Hopefully the goaltending could hold up, because this is probably our weakest point at the moment, just because these guys aren't really developing much more. There is a good goaltender in the AHL at least, so hopefully he gets more growth this year, because he could be our starting goaltender as early as next season. So there is that. And before we actually get into this season simulation, as always, we do have a couple comments to go over. So let's get into this first comment from Rocky Mountain Russian. He says, just July 1st, hire coaches and scouts, and you can go over the budget amount when the owner mode is off. If you wait till July 2nd, you miss out on great scouts, so you could make an A-rated scout with an E in a region into an A in a region within 2 years. Don't just get scouts based off the area they see best on. Make it their overall rating. July 1st is important from here on out, and any future draft to glory or franchises you do, you should have 8 full coaches. That way your growth will always do better. So yeah, basically that is the case. So let's see, how much coaches do we got at the moment though? So right now in the NHL we have 2 coaches, so we should technically be finding a third. So in the offseason, maybe we'll look for an NHL assistant coach and a goalie coach, because apparently when you have owner mode off, apparently it doesn't matter as well. That's also actually from a comment from Zach. He says, budget for coaching staff doesn't matter when owner mode is off. You could get 3 or 4 A-rated coaches in the NHL if you wanted. So we will find ourselves some more coaches this upcoming offseason probably, unless these guys are really good somehow, which I doubt that's going to be the case. And then scouting wise, we obviously have to look for overall rating and stuff like that, not just if they're good in a region, and then they'll just grow from an E to an A in that region instead, so within 2 years. So those are the first 2 comments. And the next other comment is from Zach, because he had 2 of them. He says, if you want to change your coaching staff, you have to do it on the first day of free agency to get the best rated ones. Same goes for scouts. So you have a pro scout, which is still useless. By year 3, you should have almost 20 A-rated scouts if you want to max out your management. So at the moment, yeah, this is our scouting pool. As you can see, we have Ranton, who's an A- at least, but there is a couple B's, a lot of C's, and we do still have an AHL North scout, which is basically the guy that was with our roster that I just decided to sign just for fun, but we would probably let him go once his contract is up. But yeah, we definitely need a better overall scouts, because right now, yeah, they don't look too good. The ones available, yeah, there's not any good ones, so we got to definitely do that next off season. So don't let me forget about that, guys. So there is those first 3 comments, and the final comment is from Hockey Guy 88. He says, my guess is 13 wins this season. So some people said before that, like I think 15 and 20 were some of the predictions, so should be interesting to see what this team can get. Now, also, before we get into the season simulation, let's take a look at those new guys we drafted that are going to be on our roster and see what they look like we do every single season. So the first one would be Claxton, which I am excited to see what Claxton could do in his rookie season, and hopefully he becomes kind of like a wild card player for us. So he looks like this. He's got a stash, and he's got some nice hair. Okay, not too bad of a look there for Claxton. We're in the number 77. Hopefully he could pick up a lot of assists next to a good sniper like Parrott. I think it was Parrott. Left wing wise, Bickle is there. We got Festerini, Cox, those guys I drafted in other years. None of those guys I drafted recently. Zikov, obviously, we drafted with our first round pick at 5th overall, I think it was. He looks like this, like an Asian guy with blonde hair. Interesting, considering he's from, I think, like Ukraine or something like that. That's kind of interesting. And I think that's it. That's new for our roster this season, right? Yeah, that's the new players for our roster this season. So Let's get simulating and see what this team could do this upcoming year. Are we going to hit double-digit wins for the first time in franchise history? Are we going to get up to 20 wins this season? I don't think we're going to hit 20 wins, but I feel like you guys are on the right track about it being 13 to 20 wins, somewhere around that range. Like 15 would make sense as well, but I don't feel like we're going to get 20 wins, but who knows, we can make some good strides forward this year. Maybe we won't be the worst team in the NHL this year too. Because if we are not the worst team in the NHL this year, that would be pretty amazing. Considering we've been the worst team in the NHL the first 4 years, I guess we've done. Because I think we're in year 5 at this stage, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe not year 5. No, maybe we are in year 5 already, which is kind of crazy. This year is going to go by pretty quickly. Okay, so we have the first game of the season against Toronto. Interesting enough. Let's take this up to April the 12th and see what this team does. See if this team can get a good wins this season and also a better goal differential too. Like, we won 2 games already in our first 3 games of the season. That's kind of surprising, and lose 1 in overtime. So a good way to start off extra frame wise. We have 3 wins to start this season. So yeah, maybe we will hit. We'll definitely hit double-digit wins, I think, this season, unless this team just loses everything down the stretch, which right now they're doing. But who knows? I don't know how much team. I don't think we're gonna hit 20 wins. I think we could hit definitely though like 15. Hey, there's 3 wins in our last 4 games. Yeah, we're having some good little stretches here. Much better than prior seasons, because most of the time we'd go like an entire month without winning a game. But it's good to see us win like a couple in a row. Even though we are still having a trash record at this stage. There's a win. There's a loss. Can we get another win? Yes, we can. Shootout loss there. We're at 8 wins already, so we are already almost at our best, I think. Because our best was 9, right? Or was our best 8? I don't even know. I'm losing my memory on this type of thing. Too much franchise modes I've been playing, huh? There's 9 wins. There's 10 wins. We've hit double-digit wins for the first time in franchise history. I know that's a first. Let's go. 10 wins. And we're at the halfway point of the season. There's win 11. You guys might be right. We might hit 15 around. Or maybe Hawks fan will be right on the numbers with 13. There's number 12. Can we hit win 13 on the season as the Rangers have fired their head coach? Hey, there's win 13. Let's go, boys. This is a good season so far. There's win 14. Okay. Maybe we will hit 15 wins. If we could hit 15 wins, that'd be nice. There's 15 wins. A lot of our wins are coming in overtime, which is kind of funny. Let's just go through this quickly because we do not care about the trade deadline. But 15 wins on the season is pretty nice. I will definitely take that. No, I'm not claiming anybody on waivers. There's a loss. When are we going to get our next win? There's another win. 16 wins. We might actually hit 20 wins. Hey, there's 17. Come on, guys. Let's hit 20 wins this year. That'd be impressive. I don't know if we will, though. We don't have a lot of season left. There's 18 wins. We need just 2 more. There's a shootout loss. That could have been a win. There's another win. 19 wins. 20 wins. Let's go. We hit 20 wins for the first time in franchise history. Let's go. 21 wins, and that's our record. Look at that. 21 wins. That is impressive. So even better than that one prediction that said 20 wins like last episode. We hit 21 wins. And a lot of our games are much better defensively. Like, look, 3-2 loss, 1-0 win, 2-1 win. Like, we grinded out some pretty good defensive games, it looks like, this year. So 20 win, 56-5 is our record for the season. Once again, the worst in our division, and we are, in fact, going to be still the worst in the league, but at least it was only by 21 points because the Wild were the next closest team, but still not bad. It looks like our offense fell off a cliff this year, which is kind of weird. I don't understand that. Because Parrott led our team in points with 58 points, and last year we had almost a point per game player, so I don't know what the case is with that. Maybe it's because of the new coach, because we did change coaches over to our associate coach, so maybe his scoring brought us down, but made us win more games. I don't even know. Huh, that's interesting. I don't know why that goal scoring went down. We'll take a look at that in a second. Maybe better depth scoring, who knows. Because the last few years we've had just our top line dominating, but maybe now it's better depth scoring. So we were definitely the worst team in the league, yep, by, actually not by as much as I was saying, it was only by less than 20 points, separating us from the Rangers. The Rangers had 23 wins, we had 21. Goals for per game wise, we were the worst offensive team still, but not by much. Only like less than 20 than Philadelphia. Goals against per game wise, we were the worst defensive team still, but at least we're under 4 goals a game now, which is good because before that we were above like 4 and 5, so we weren't doing too good. Power play percentage wise, we weren't the worst power play team in the league, above New Jersey and the Islanders, who made the playoffs, strangely enough. Penalty kill wise, we were the worst team on the penalty kill, only by 0.4%, so special teams are improving. Once again, no shorthanded goals, 11, 25, and 5 on home ice, 10, 31, and 0 on the road, and 4, 5, and 1 in our last 10 games to end the season. Not too bad, not too bad at all. Let's see what the depth scoring was like on this team, because maybe just that improved. So, Parrott, 58 points this year to lead the team, not bad. Much better rookie season. His plus minus also much improved. 5 goals on the power play as well. Not bad. A lot of hits as well. Good takeaway numbers. And all things considered, not bad from Parrott. He's up to a high elite potential, which I don't know why. Zikov had 53 points this year. That's kind of scary considering we just gave him an 8-year extension. He's making a lot of money. Drops from 80 to 53 points. I don't know if it's just a new coach. Maybe we need to find somebody that works better with these type of guys, I guess. Because maybe it's the coach. I feel like it has to be. Yeah, because maybe Harper was the right coach and not Plus. Brophy, 31 points. Not too bad. 70 overall. That's actually pretty solid for a bottom 6 forward. Claxton only had 25 points this year. That's kind of strange. But I mean, that's still a pretty good rookie season, I'd say, nonetheless. Had some power play points, a game-winning goal. His face-off numbers not that great, so it doesn't seem like he wins a lot of draws. Yeah, his face-off stats aren't that great for a centerman, so we should probably be using him more as like a left winger. Grattan, 13 points. Another 70 overall bottom 6 guy. Festerini, 54 points this year. Not too bad. He's up to an 81 overall. So Festerini making some good strides, and his contract comes to an end this year, so we definitely need to give him an extension. But, yeah, pretty solid from Festerini. He's improving every single season as a low elite, which is definitely something we could use. Good takeaway numbers as well, so not bad from Bryson. Bickle, only 42 points this year. See, like, the offense completely dropped off with this new coach, which is kind of weird. Like, look at the point difference from 78 down to 42. Like, something just didn't click this year, and it must have been the coach. So we will definitely look for some new coaches this offseason, because I don't really like that offensive output. Like, I like the defensive play, at least on this team, but the offensive output definitely needs to improve. Cox had 18 points. He's up to a 69 at 21. Right wing wise, Jorgensen up to 57 points this year, minus 30. Also, huge drop off in points. Yeah, that's kind of concerning. I don't know what the reason is. Especially when I gave these guys like big money. I want them to produce, obviously. So, Volette, not really growing, but 14 points. Sloan, 9 points. He's not growing much. He's a bottom 6 guy. And D. Nicola, 69. Yeah, a lot of our bottom 6 guys aren't really growing much more. Defensively, Zikov, 30 points in his rookie season. Not bad from the defenseman. Still says it's 76, but we'll see if he's higher up at the end of the playoffs. Like, maybe he'll get some statistical growth. He had 12 goals this year, though. Shooting 7.3% as a defenseman. Pretty solid goal-scoring defenseman, it seems like. Not bad. And then Nikitin had 26 points, up to a 74. So almost getting to top 6 status. Cromwell, 19 points, 70 overall. Rose, 16 points, a 72 overall, not bad. Strachan, 11 points, 73 overall, that's good. He's getting growth. And Kuznetsov, 1 assist. And he's only a 68, so he's not really growing much. Goaltending wise, Klesla had 15 of our wins with an 898 save percentage and a 378. Did he have any assists? Yes, he did. Not a surprise because he usually does pick up one. Carlson had 6 wins, and he had 2 shutouts only, which is kind of surprising. An 892 save percentage and a 3.76 goals against average. So pretty similar numbers for both goalies. So that is that. Let's take a quick look actually at our AHL team as well, because I want to take a look at these stats. So Hull was pretty good offensively. That's good to see. Who else did we draft? Ferraro at 22 points. Voinov had 22 points. Okay. Defensively, Little had 48 points. He's not really growing much. Larson had 30-something points. Not bad. Farrell, looks like he's getting some good growth, which is nice, I think. Schultz, still 62. Yeah, not really getting much growth, it looks like, in the minors. And Neal might be better than 68 at this stage, but there was his season down there in the AHL. Let's go get a quick look at the entire NHL for points as well. Not that this matters too much. Connor McDavid on the Washington Capitals, what happened? Did he sign there as a free agent? He must have signed there as a free agent. That's kind of crazy. And he's playing with Alex Ovechkin now. That is actually kind of crazy. McDavid and Ovechkin. McDavid's going to help Ovechkin break Gretzky's goal record, apparently. Interesting. Panarin in Boston, too. So a lot of players changing teams, it looks like. And that Lowry guy we could have drafted had 94 points this year, which is kind of crazy. Best defenseman for points this year is Charlie McAvoy. Not a surprise. Best goaltender for wins, John Gibson. Best rookie this season, Lee Battaglia with 54 points. Zikov was all the way up there in the top 10 in points, so at least as a rookie. Up there probably in goals as well. Yeah, up there in goals as well, I guess. Yeah, in a decent amount. There we go. Okay, so that is our season. A lot more wins this year, but offense numbers dropping off a lot. So we got to definitely figure out what we need to do to get that offensive number to be back where it was like last season. Let's simulate to the awards and all that stuff and wrap up this season. And then we'll take a look at like the draft class, the progress reports, all that stuff, and see what we could be potentially getting for our team. And hopefully we win the draft lottery again or get into the top 3 at least, because I would like to have another solid defenseman if there's a defenseman there, or another solid forward, why not? But let's see who is going to win the Stanley Cup for 2026-27. It is going to be the Anaheim Ducks, and Tucson wins the AHL. So Anaheim winning the Stanley Cup for 2026-2027. Let's take a look at that playoff bracket. They won in 7 games over the Buffalo Sabres. And Chicago somehow got back to the conference finals. Interesting. So Anaheim wins the Stanley Cup for the second time actually in this franchise mode, because they won back in year 1. Seattle won the President's Trophy. Anaheim in Buffalo Stanley Cup Finals. Connor McDavid the Art Ross in the Hart. Charlie McAvoy the Norris. Panarin the Lady Bing. Lee Battaglia the Calder. Sam Bennett won the Conn Smythe. That's kind of an interesting one. Jordan Bennington in Seattle wins the Vezina. Jordan Bennington also wins the Jennings with Stuart Skinner. Moroza wins the Masterton for us, so there is Nikitin's award basically, because Nikitin had 3 straight of those, but Moroza picks up his first Bill Masterton. Washington's coach wins the Jack Adams. Barkov wins the Selke. McDavid the Lindsay, and Kucherov the Richard. AHL award wise, anybody for us? Probably not. Does not look like it, unfortunately. So there is the awards. Now let's get to the retirement stage. See who's going to retire this year. Not that we're going to lose anybody. So we have the 3rd overall pick. So unfortunately we fall from 1 to 3. But at least it's not another 1st overall pick in a sense, because they're also our cap hit will probably getting worse and worse. But Vegas is going to move from 5 to 1. Calgary moves from 10 to 2. And we fall from 1 to 3. So there's that. And let's take a look at those retired players. Let's go by forwards to start off with. Blake Wheeler's the best. Phil Kessel also retires. Some pretty big names it looks like in this retirement class. Yeah, some pretty big names. And then defensively, Victor Hedman's the best. Chris Letang, Erik Karlsson, damn, 3 big monsters on the defensive retirements. And a lot of other good solid defenders. Yeah, a lot of solid ones there. Goaltending wise, Jonathan Quick's the best to retire. Same with Brian Elliott. So some solid goalies as well. Pretty big retirement class for the most part. So there is the retirements. And Blake Wheeler, Phil Kessel, Victor Hedman, and Chris Tanev are all now coaches, which is interesting. So there you go on that front. Coach retirement wise, did we lose anybody? No, we did not. That's good. Let's continue simulating, and let's take a look at our progress reports and the draft class. And also our contract situation. So progress reports first. Let's see what we got here. So it looks like we are getting some, a good lot of natural growth and statistical growth from Fresterini. Hull's getting a lot of growth as well. He's up to a 75 as a low top 6, which is pretty good. He's going to be in our lineup for sure next season. Vollette's getting a lot of growth. Same with Cox. Brophy's not really getting much, it looks like. Strachan's getting growth. Same with Grattan. Some of it might be statistical. Boris Zykov is up to a 79. That's good to see. Mostly natural growth, but some statistical. Kalinин's a 69. That's also pretty good. Yeah, it looks like we're getting actually a good amount of growth. And Parrot's potential jumped up to medium franchise, so that's kind of interesting. So we definitely got to lock him up if that's the case. Cromwell 72. Bickle to an 84. Bickle is taking a little bit longer to develop than I thought. His offensive awareness from statistical went dropped down. That's kind of concerning. Zykov's is 86. And Jorgensen's an 86. I might assign those guys to too much money. So there is that growth. Carlson's up to a 68. Klusla did not develop anymore, so he's probably going to cap out around this overall. And then in the system, Neal went up to a 68 still. Not much growth, unfortunately, from him, but we needed. Tays got a lot of growth, which is good. Farrell got a lot of growth, same with Kuznetsov. What else we got here for a lot of growth? Di Nicola got some growth. That's good. Claxon jumped up to a 65. Was hoping for a little bit higher, because he might be getting pushed down to being like a third-line center at some point. And then Ferraro also getting some good development. So at least there's some good development in our system, but was hoping for more growth from guys like Neal as a goalie, because he's only a 68 at 21. He might only be like a 78 at best. So in terms of contracts that are up for renewal this offseason, Bickle is the big one, and then also Festorini, because he got them in the same draft. Bickle for 8 years. We should be able to lock him up for 8 years, but I don't know if we really want to, because he's a 21-year-old that's 84. His goal scoring is definitely there, but is it going to get back to where it was? Festorini is going to probably be expensive a little bit. Maybe not. We could lock him up to an 8-year deal at like $6 million, since we know for a fact that this guy's going to be in a crucial like third liner for us, or second liner maybe even. Some of these guys we could lock up, and then the rest of these guys we'd have to probably qualify, or we could try and negotiate a little bit with them on like multi-year deals. Goalie wise, Klesla's up for renewal, and Neal as well. So there is the contracts up for renewal. And final thing, the draft class. We have the 3rd overall pick this year. Let's see what we could get at number 3. We could get 2 good centers. One's a sniper and one's a 2-way forward. But let's take a look at these guys here, just in case Mangone and Ernie somehow slide. But there is Mangone. He's supposed to be the 1st overall pick. He's got a weakness in character, so I'm kind of glad I don't have 1st overall. Then there is Ernie, who also looks pretty good. Looks like a Joe Thornton type, apparently. And then Declan McCarty is one of the guys we could go after, a center sniper. Looks like he might be decent. Like, he's going to be a good goal scorer for sure, but his physical and stuff like that is a little bit lower. Then we go to Derek Keith, who we could get. He's looking a bit better. Like, he's not, actually maybe not. There's 3 A results there. A lot of A- results with Derek Keith, but Derek Keith doesn't have that B physical. Interesting. So I don't really know which one we would go with. Both of them are listed as gems, and McCarty's apparently the clear number 3. So one of the 2 of those guys, or we could go with another defenseman, but that's a top 4 defender, so we probably wouldn't do that. Even though this guy is probably a high overall, it'd probably make more sense to go with an elite forward. There's also Gogol, who's a power forward, who looks really good actually. 3 A+ categories. So Gogol might actually be better than the 2 gems, but the gems probably will grow to being better players. I don't really know who's better out of the 3 of those guys. Let's see if there's any low elites for later rounds, because if there's any low elites, we'll definitely pin them, or other medium elites. There's a medium elite goaltender in Kurt Duncan. We'll definitely pin him, even though he's 20. This guy's not guaranteed to be medium elite, but he might be. Christopher McCutcheon. I'll pin him in case as well. Any low elites that we could pin? No, is the question. Because we want to build up this prospect pool as much as possible. Ooh, Terrence Gagliardi. Oh, he might actually we might be able to get him in the 2nd round, but I feel like he's going to go earlier. If we could get Terrence Gagliardi somehow, though, we're definitely taking him in the 2nd round. Because the scout ranks him at 29. Central Scouting has him ranked at 30. and in his previous thing was 34. So he's supposed to go between 29 and 34. If he goes at 34, it would be a second round pick. So Gulius might not be low elite. What about Lejunin? Probably not. Doesn't look like a lot of low elites. Wilson Simmons from Norway, huh? It's funny. Iginla, Israel Iginla. That's actually funny that he plays for Seattle, because I believe Jerome Iginla's son actually plays for Seattle, but this is obviously not the right draft class. So there you go on the draft class and all that stuff. Let's take a look at the draft board and see what the scouts recommend us quickly. So they're recommending McCarty or Keith. Then Gagliardi is definitely the first choice between these guys, and then it says Molly and Nicholson. Molly, I don't know if he doesn't look that good. Nicholson, I don't know about those guys, to be honest. But we do need more defensive prospects, so this is who it recommends us for every single round, just in case you guys want to take a look at that. Forward depth wise, forward prospects are neutral. We're still weak apparently on a lot of stuff. Neutral, same, and strength and defensive prospects. It's good. Yeah, it looks like we have some good prospects in a lot of our spots, but we just need to continue getting development, because we have like a decent top 6 at least at most at this stage. We just need to get guys getting like the depth basically a little bit better. Like Hull's a 75. He's like more of a fourth liner at the moment, but the rest of these guys could play in the top 6 type of role. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Anchorage Ice Tigers Draft Order franchise mode. So in next episode, we'll take it to another offseason. Remind me about getting some new coaches and all that stuff, and we'll try and figure out this team and get this offensive level back to where it was last season, and hopefully this team can continue getting some good development, because obviously we want to start making the playoffs within the next maybe 5 seasons or so. So guys, think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.